My name is Denise Burgos. My tutor is John Moscoso. Let's go to talk about droplets and aerosols in the transmission of SARS-CoV-2. Definition: there are different types of particles that can be transmitted via person to person to cause an infection. Droplets that are produced directly from an infected person through coughing or sneezing are large and can remain in the air for a short period of time before settling due to gravity. The surface that the viral particles land on them become contaminated and can lead to infection. If a person touches the surface and then touches their eyes, nose, or mouth.
Hi, it's Fred Cartaxo. Droplets and aerosols in the transmission of SARS-CoV-2. Now, liquid droplets exhaled during speech can linger in the air. Their large particles to which they refer remain in airborne only briefly before setting because of the gravity. These particles may pose a threat of infection if are inhaled by person close by, as well as a contact hazard if they are transferred to another person nasal or oral passages. In the way, person infected with severe acute respiratory syndrome SARS-CoV-2 may contribute to spread of the infection. Breathing and talking also produce smaller and much more numerous particles, known as aerosol particles, than those visualized in the laser experiment of Anferud and colleagues. Certain persons called superspreaders may produce more aerosol particles than other persons. The diameter of these particles are in the micron range. These particles are too small to settle because of the gravity, but they are carried by air currents and dispersed by diffusion and air turbulence. Inhaled droplets and aerosol particles have different sites of deposition in the recipient. Inhaled droplets are deposited in upper region of respiratory tract, from which they may be removed in nasal secretions or carried upward of mucociliary escalator to the expel or swallowed. In contrast, inhaled aerosol particles can penetrate the depth of the lungs, where they may be deposited in the alveoli. A recent study of results of which they also published in the journal showed that experimentally produced aerosol containing SARS-CoV-2 virion remain infectious in tissue culture assays, with only a slight reduction in infectivity during 3-hour period of observation. Aerosol from the infected person may be therefore pose an inhalation threat even at considerable distance in closed spaces, particularly if they are in poor ventilation. The possible contribution of the infective aerosols to the current pandemic suggests that availability of wearing a suitable mask whenever it is thought that infected person may be nearby, or proving adequate ventilation or of enclosed spaces where such persons are known or to be recent have been infected with the SARS-CoV-2. Okay, thank you so much.
Applications in nursing. Hand hygiene before and after contact with all patients. When assisting suspected patients or confirmed case of COVID-19, add surgical chin strap, camisole, gloves, eye protection. If you carry out a procedure that generates aerosols use Chinstreg M195. Pros and cons. As the SARS-CoV-2 pandemic continues to explode, hospital systems are struggling to take agile measures to protect patients and healthcare workers from the virus. The possibility that wearing a mask may reduce the likelihood of transmission of asymptomatic and minimally symptomatic healthcare workers with COVID-19 to other providers and patients. However, a mask alone in this environment will reduce the risk only slightly, as it does not provide protection against drops that can grind the eyes or from mites in the patient or in the environment that providers can pick up and carry to their mucosa, particularly given the concern that mask wearers may have a greater tendency to touch their face. Issue applied in Ecuador. In Ecuador, the use of the N95 mask has been implemented as a preventive measure in this case, since it will prevent oral and nasogastric fluids. Conclusion. Faced with the SARS-CoV-2 pandemic, most surgical procedures generate of present potential risks of the transmission of infections. Understanding the importance of transmission and its complications in nursing can facilitate the identification and correction of nursing negligence. In addition to standard precautions, this review has raised some special precautions that should be implemented during the SARS-CoV-2 outbreak. All staff should be aware of the importance of cross-infection control and the underlying principles for maintaining a safe work environment. Understand the modes of transmission of agents. Thank you.